In the quiet neighborhood of Mytishchi, Moscow Oblast, on the 9th of April 1974, Alexander Pichushkin came into the world. He grew up in a modest two-bedroom apartment on 2 Khersenskaya Street in the heart of Moscow, surrounded by his family. Pichushkin shared his home with his mother, Natalia Elmuradovna, his younger half-sister, her husband, and their son, creating a bustling household on the 5th floor. Their apartment building, conveniently located, was just a short 6-minute walk from the tranquil oasis of Bitsa Park. As a child, Pichushkin was initially sociable and approachable, embracing the innocence of youth. However, his world took a dark turn when an incident unfolded on a seemingly harmless swing. In a fateful moment, Pichushkin fell backward off the swing, and as it swung back, it struck him forcefully on the forehead. Experts later speculated that this unfortunate accident had damaged his frontal cortex, a region of the brain crucial for impulse regulation. Such damage often leads to difficulties in controlling one's impulses, and may contribute to an increased tendency toward aggression. The impact was particularly severe for young Pichushkin, as a child's forehead provides far less protection to the developing brain than that of an adult. Following this tragic incident, the once cheerful and friendly child transformed into a hostile and impulsive individual. Pichushkin's altered behavior became a cause of concern for his mother, who made the difficult decision to transfer him from the mainstream school he attended to a specialized institution catering to children with learning disabilities. Prior to this transfer, Pichushkin had endured physical and verbal abuse from his classmates, who cruelly labeled him as that retard. These relentless acts of bullying only fueled his anger and resentment, pushing him further into a spiral of hostility. In the midst of Pichushkin's early adolescence, his maternal grandfather recognized his grandson's exceptional intelligence. Determined to cultivate Pichushkin's innate talents, his grandfather invited him to live in his own home. This change of environment proved to be a turning point in Pichushkin's life. Surrounded by encouragement and support, he was urged to pursue intellectual endeavors beyond the constraints of traditional schooling. It was during this transformative period that Pichushkin discovered his deepest passion, chess. Under the guidance of his grandfather, Pichushkin learned the intricate strategies of the game, honing his skills with unwavering dedication. Soon, his remarkable talent caught the attention of elderly chess players who frequented Bitsa Park. Pichushkin embraced the challenge, engaging in exhibition matches against these seasoned opponents, where he consistently emerged victorious. The chessboard became his sanctuary, a realm where he channeled his pent-up aggression and emerged triumphant. Despite his triumphs in the world of chess, Pichushkin's life remained marred by the torment inflicted upon him by his mainstream school peers. The pain intensified when, in the final stages of his adolescence, he suffered the devastating loss of his beloved grandfather. Suddenly thrust back into his mother's home, Pichushkin grappled with grief and a sense of aimlessness. In search of solace and a means to control his explosive anger, he turned to alcohol, particularly vodka, which he consumed in copious amounts. As he continued to play chess both at home and in the company of other men in Bitsa Park, Pichushkin's drinking became intertwined with his obsession with power. A sinister hobby began to take shape, unbeknownst to those around him. Whenever he anticipated encounters with children, he carried a video camera as a twisted tool of control. In a chilling display of dominance, Pichushkin captured moments of terror, threatening young children as he held them upside down, taunting them with the promise of a fatal fall from a window. Watching these videos repeatedly, he sought to reaffirm his twisted sense of power. By 1992, however, the thrill of these sadistic acts had begun to wane, no longer enough to satisfy the growing urges festering within Alexander Pichushkin. Motivated by a chilling desire to surpass the infamous Andrei Chikatilo, Alexander Pichushkin embarked on a murderous spree, targeting innocent victims in a sinister competition. Chikatilo, known for his heinous acts, had been convicted of killing 52 children and young women over a 12-year period. Pichushkin, aiming to outdo his predecessor, set his sights on a grim goal: to end the lives of 64 individuals, symbolizing the number of squares on a chessboard. Pichushkin's first recorded murder took place on the 27th of July 1992, when he was just 18 years old. His intended victim was his classmate, Mikhail Odichuk, whom he had arranged to meet in Bitsa Park to discuss their sinister plan. However, Odichuk had a change of heart and expressed his unwillingness to participate. Enraged by what he perceived as a betrayal, Pichushkin strangled his best friend and callously disposed of the body in a sewer entrance within the park. Sadly, Odichuk's remains were never recovered. Following Odichuk's disappearance, an investigation was launched by the Moscow police. Witnesses reported that Odichuk had last been seen with Pichushkin, heading towards the park. Pichushkin was subsequently arrested on the 30th of July, but was released due to a lack of evidence linking him to the crime. For several years after this incident, Pichushkin refrained from further killings. It wasn't until 1996, when Russia imposed a moratorium on the death penalty, that his murderous tendencies resurfaced. Between May 2001 and September 2005, an alarming period known as the sewers, Pichushkin unleashed a reign of terror upon unsuspecting victims. Predominantly targeting elderly homeless individuals, he would approach them in Bitsa Park, offering to share a drink of vodka. Once the victims' guards were down, Pichushkin would strike them on the back of the head with a hammer or bottle, or push them into the sewage canal to meet their demise. Astonishingly, out of the 36 victims he attacked during this time, 3 managed to survive their injuries. To further degrade his victims, Pichushkin would desecrate their remains, often impaling their skulls with sticks or empty vodka bottles, leaving a chilling signature behind. From October 2005 to his final murder in June 2006, known as the Open Period, Pichushkin altered his method of operation. He shifted to using a hammer as his primary weapon, repeatedly striking his victims in the head. After ensuring their demise, he would grotesquely insert a vodka bottle into the gaping wound, showcasing a macabre display of his brutality. Pichushkin preferred to attack from behind, catching his victims off guard and avoiding bloodstains on his own clothes. Shockingly, 10 of his victims resided in the very complex where he lived, with 4 coming from 2 Khersenskaya, 2 from 4 Khersenskaya, 3 from 6 Khersenskaya, and 1 from 8 Khersenskaya. In June 2006, Alexander Pichushkin convinced his co-worker Marina Moskalyova to accompany him for a walk, despite her initial suspicions about him. Before leaving, she left a note for her son, indicating that she was with Pichushkin and providing his phone number. Unfazed by the note, Pichushkin proceeded with his intentions. Moskalyova's body was discovered in Bitsa Park on the 14th of June 2006, bearing the trademark injuries inflicted by Pichushkin. A Moscow metro ticket found in her possession prompted authorities to review surveillance footage from the metro system, revealing her presence on a platform accompanied by Pichushkin shortly before her death. Following his apprehension, Pichushkin willingly guided the police to the crime scenes in Bitsa Park, displaying remarkable recollection of the murder details. He reenacted the crimes on camera, a customary practice in Russian criminal investigations. Pichushkin disclosed that some of his victims met their fate by being thrown into the sewer lines beneath Bitsa Park, deviating from his preferred method of delivering hammer blows to the back of the head. However, one victim managed to survive this ordeal. Pichushkin derived a godlike feeling from deciding whether his victims should live or die, claiming that killing was necessary for him to feel alive. He described his actions as providing a passage to another world for his victims, considering himself their father figure. In his trial on the 24th of October 2007, Pichushkin was convicted of 49 murders and 3 attempted murders. He requested the court to add 11 more victims to his tally, claiming a total of 60 deaths and 3 survivors. During the trial, Pichushkin was confined in a glass cage for his own protection. Judge Vladimir Usov handed down a life imprisonment sentence to Pichushkin, with the initial 15 years to be spent in solitary confinement. Pichushkin appealed his sentence, considering it too severe, and sought a reduction to 25 years. As of 2017, he was confined in solitary confinement at the Polar Owl Arctic Penal Colony. Today's conundrum is the chilling case of Alexander Pichushkin, the chessboard killer. With a motive fueled by a macabre competition and a desire for power, he claimed the lives of at least 49 people. Share your thoughts on this shocking case in the comments below.